Plenty to learn about NFL playoff contenders come December. Call it December definition. We'll learn plenty about the various playoff contenders this week when the Eagles visit the Rams, the Vikings take on the Panthers, the Seahawks meet the Jaguars, the Raiders play at the Chiefs, and the Ravens head to Pittsburgh. The Eagles, Rams, Jaguars, Vikings and Steelers all have ways of clinching postseason berths. So do the Patriots, who visit Miami. Most intriguing might be Philadelphia, 10-2, at Los Angeles, 9-3. The Eagles had their 9-game winning streak snapped at Seattle, then stayed out west trying to figure out why an offense that had been dominant was shut down. Now they take on the Rams, with an equally dangerous offense and, like Philly, a division leader. The coolest of matchups has Rams QB Jared Goff, the top selection in the 2016 draft, against Eagles QB Carson Wentz, who went second overall that year. Both have matured rapidly, sparking turnarounds that could lead to, well, the Super Bowl. A Philadelphia win gives it the NFC East title. So does a Dallas loss. Minnesota, 10-2, at Carolina, 8-4. The Vikings haven't gotten to the top of the NFC the easy way. They've already played New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Atlanta, Green Bay and the Rams, none of which has a losing record. Most of those teams will make the playoffs. Now, a trip to Carolina, which also is in the NFC mix. A victory in Charlotte, with Cincinnati, Green Bay and Chicago remaining, would stamp the Vikings as a conference favorite. The Panthers must improve late in games. Carolina has been outscored 75-58 in fourth quarter. Baltimore, 7-5, at Pittsburgh, 10-2. Pittsburgh's victory over Cincinnati on Monday night was brutal, marred by malicious hits, launching and taunting on both sides. Now, the Steelers get their biggest rival in what always has been a physical affair. The Steelers need to step up their game, despite having won 7 in a row. They are barely getting by inferior opponents, and the Ravens, no matter the situation, are always dangerous for Pittsburgh. Tennessee, 8-4, at Arizona, 5-7. The AFC South race, with a huge dose of NFC West. Tennessee holds the tiebreaker right now over Jacksonville, but the teams finish off the schedule against each other. The Titans are the only franchise never to have played at University at Phoenix Stadium. In their visit Sunday, they bring a potent running game of DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, who's coming off his second career 100-yard rushing game, including a 75-yard run against Houston. Tennessee hasn't allowed an opponent to run for more than 100 yards in 8 straight games, the longest streak in NFL this season, which doesn't bode well for Arizona's Adrian Peterson. Seattle, 8-4, at Jacksonville, 8-4. Jacksonville has a much tougher task, even at home. Although Seattle has some key injuries in its secondary, the defense has stepped up and shut down Philadelphia last week. The offense, as sensational QB Russell Wilson states his case for league MVP, has been dynamic, particularly now that Jimmy Graham has become a major force. Oakland, 6-6, at Kansas City, 6-6. If it's not the best rivalry in pro football, Raiders-Chiefs is top 3. That it has so much meaning Sunday is like adding a tasty dessert to some delicious Kansas City BBQ. Raiders coach Jack Del Rio explains the AFC West situation best. There's a better feel when you're winning and doing things well. For us, it's about the next game, Del Rio says. Washington, 5-7, at LA. Chargers, 6-6. The Chargers have racked up more than 400 yards in 3 straight games while outscoring opponents 101-40. Philip Rivers has completed 72% of his passes for 1,029 yards, 6 TDs, no interceptions in the past 3 weeks. Keenan Allen became the first player in NFL history with 10-plus catches for 100-plus yards and at least 1 TD in 3 straight games. New England, 10-2, at Miami, 5-7, Monday. If the Patriots haven't secured their 9th straight AFC East crown by kickoff time, a Buffalo loss does the trick on Sunday. They are heavily favored to get the clincher here. The Patriots have won 8 games in a row, and though Rob Gronkowski will be serving a 1-game suspension for a late, gratuitous hit to the head of Bills defensive back Tre'Davious White, Tom Brady isn't likely to miss him much. Green Bay, 6-6, at Cleveland, 0-12. The house cleaning has begun in Cleveland with the firing on Thursday of Vice President Sashi Brown. There's little reason to think that, or anything else, will lead to a Browns victory against a Packers team holding out hope of reach wild card status. Green Bay should get back star quarterback Aaron Rodgers, collarbone, next week, and if it doesn't stumble here, the team will give Cheesehead some hope for the final 3 weeks. Indianapolis, 3-9, at Buffalo, 6-6. Two banged-up teams whose best remaining options are their running backs. Indeed, Indy's Frank Gore and Buffalo's LeSean McCoy are worthy of top billing. Gore leads the active list and last weekend moved into 5th place overall with 13,697 yards rushing. McCoy is 3rd on the active list and 31st overall with 9,805 yards. Dallas, 6-6, at New York Giants, 2-10. A classic matchup with little significance this year. Dallas finally won without suspended star running back Ezekiel Elliott when it beat Washington, but making a playoff push is a long shot in the rugged NFC. A loss would cap a bad week for owner Jerry Jones, whose fight to delay Commissioner Roger Goodell's new contract was fruitless. Eli Manning gets his job back. How insulting was the way his starting string ended. Common now that Steve Spagnuolo has replaced the fired Ben Mikado as coach. Detroit, 6-6, at Tampa Bay, 4-8. Opponents can pass on Tampa Bay, and that's about all the Lions can do. But with QB Matthew Stafford's health, uncertain, counting on Detroit's attack makes little sense. Detroit has won 3 of the past 4 meetings. New York Jets, 5-7, at Denver, 3-9. Denver has been on a Rocky Mountain low for 2 months, dropping 8 consecutive games. With an inept offense, the defense has gotten worn down, but it does get back CB Aqib Talib from suspension. Chicago, 3-9, at Cincinnati, 5-7. Other than Cleveland, the Bears might be the NFL's worst side. They have the NFL's lowest-ranked offense, have lost 5 in a row, they haven't dropped more than 5 straight since a 2002 8-game slide, and John Fox has a 12-30 to record for a franchise-worst .273 winning percentage, in 3 seasons coaching the Bears. After the Bengals blew a game they led most of the way on Monday night to Pittsburgh, their postseason chances appear gone. San Francisco, 2-10, at Houston, 4-8. Only the 4th meeting of these clubs, and it has little meaning. San Francisco has won 2 of its past 3, and has its likely future QB, Jimmy Garoppolo, running things. He threw for 293 yards last week to set a franchise record for most yards passing in a first start with the team. The one guy who's fun to watch in this is Houston WR DeAndre Hopkins. He's tied for the NFL lead with 9 TD receptions and has a TD catch in 6 straight home games.